Happy Monday, everybody. Again, it's Keithan checking in with Never Alone Recovery on this fine Monday. Um, as I will continue to do for as long as you guys will join me and allow me to share bits and pieces of information that I have on the topic surrounding addiction. And so today we'll be discussing, or I'll be sharing some information and insight on support systems, because I truly believe it takes a village, right? So I was given, I guess, as far back as I can remember, I was told things such as "United we stand," and that it takes a village to raise a child, and there's strength in numbers. And before I ever got introduced to the recovery support community, and before I got introduced to substances and began my journey with alcoholism and addiction, I was born with a condition called nystagmus, right? And so nystagmus is a visual impairment, and one of the main characteristics of nystagmus is an involuntary movement of the eyes. And for me, I happen to have horizontal movement. So my eyes go back and forth like this. Some have vertical movement, some have diagonal movement, and then there's also a circular movement. And I have congenital nystagmus, so I was born with this condition. And in early childhood days, I was often the butt of jokes. I was often pointed at. There was whispers as I stood out in the crowd as being the one that was different. And the doctors, when my parents were informed about the condition, the doctors explained that because there's nothing we can do. Further down in life, Keithan will have difficulties. He won't be able to drive. He'll have difficulties with visual, um, just with vision in general, but he definitely won't be able to drive. And there were other limits that they believed I'd have, which hasn't happened to be the case. But anyway, there was very little information known about this condition at that time. And so I go through life thinking I'm the only person with this impairment. And so once I got sober in 2013, um, maybe a year or so later, I began. I enrolled in college, and I began my journey to being able to work in the field of substance abuse. And so I start school, and about a year into it, I was sitting around at home one day, and I started thinking, man, because now I know what it's like to have a support system, because I'm a year sober at this time, and I have these fellowships and these other people who've been through what I've been through, and I have these people in my corner and rooting for me and able to walk the path with me. So I remember sitting around one day thinking, let me look up nystagmus. And so I searched nystagmus on Facebook, and there I found there was a whole community of people who had the condition that I had. And we're talking 30 something years. I've gone through life thinking I'm the only one. Nobody understands what I go through. And so I get connected to this nystagmus community. And from that community, I ran into people who shared the similar experiences. And there was a 5-year-old little girl on one of the Facebook pages named Mallory. And Mallory posted a video of her eyes, and she had horizontal nystagmus just like I do. And she posted this video to show the movement of her eyes. And I thought, oh man, I never thought to do that. I can't see my eyes moving. I've only been able to, hear it from others. And so I recorded a video of my eyes moving. And from this community, from getting access to this community, I was then able to go to my college professors and say, hey, I have nystagmus. And if you are going to share information, be it on a projector or on the whiteboard, or if you're going to, display anything that's far away, is it possible that you could print it out so I can have my own personal copy? And that came as a result of accessing this support system that helped me to see that I'm not alone, that helped me to see that, I have people that can relate to me and I can relate to, and they know the challenges that come with my condition, and they know, we get to share and celebrate one another's victories, like getting a driver's license. And so now that I have this access to this community and this support system, I now have the courage to be able to go and ask for help, and be able to go and say, hey, I have a disability, and I could use some extra resources, or I could use, some tools, and can you help me because of my impairment? I was no longer ashamed of the condition I had. I was able to then, let it help me. And so that was my experience with nystagmus and finding that group of people. Now, prior to that, my experience with elementary school, high school, and any other area of my life, uh, I just sat in the seat, unable to see the information on the board. So I never saw what the teacher wrote on the board. I never saw what was on the projector. I never saw, the movie screen, or if I was too far away. And I kind of just figured it out in other ways, right? But because I was able to gain access to this support system, it gave me courage that I didn't know I had all along. And so that's kind of where I want to go with today. When it comes to substance abuse and addiction, be it the addicted person or the loved one, it's important, I believe, that we have a support system. When it comes to addiction, right? One of the things that I talk about often is how there's that stigma still associated. And one of the things I hope to do through these lives is to just, again, share the information and kind of educate and expose people to some things they may or may not already know about addiction, or maybe challenge some beliefs. And as a person using drugs, I can't go to my colleagues at work and talk about the struggles. I can't go to maybe the family Thanksgiving dinner or the family outing and talk about those struggles. It's probably hard for me to meet people out in public and discuss some of the things that I go through and how I want to stop, but I can't. And so what do I do as a person dealing with addiction? I surround myself with people who are just like me, the people who are using and drinking just like me, because at least with those people, I believe that I won't be shamed, because they understand. And so the same goes for the recovery side of things. In recovery, again, I tried to control or manage or discontinue my use of drugs and alcohol on my own. And it wasn't until I accessed the support system, be it from the treatment center and then some other fellowships, it wasn't until I got connected to those that I was able to have the strength, the courage, the guidance to be able to live a life free of drugs and alcohol. And with those people, I get to still talk about the challenges, the struggles, and celebrate the small victories. And I think it's important for families, for loved ones of an addicted person, to also find some support. Because again, if my child or my spouse is the one, let's say they're stealing, and they constantly in and out of jail, and they're known as maybe the neighborhood or the town drunk, or they have this reputation of being the thief. It's difficult for me to have a conversation with my neighbor about the things that I live with on a daily basis surrounding addiction. Because again, when I don't want the shame. I don't want to be I don't want to have to defend my reality. I don't want to, I don't want to be able to share that information that I live with on a daily basis just with anybody. But the worst thing I found I can do is hold all that information and hold all of that pain inside. Right? That's not a healthy way to do it, because then it begins to rot me from the inside out. And so with the family members and loved ones of someone battling with addiction, I think it's vital to also find support. I think about like in the 12-step fellowship, they talk about, sitting on something like a three-legged stool. And on a three-legged stool, it has three legs, and those legs are the support system for the actual seat. And anytime I remove one of those legs, the seat isn't as sturdy, right? It can't hold or support as much weight. I have to do a better job at trying to balance if I want to sit down in that seat. If I take another leg away from that three-legged stool and I'm left with one leg, the chances of me being able to that chair being able to support me kind of goes out the window. And every time I try to sit down, I probably will fall. So a support system, just like for that three-legged stool, is the thing that helps keep me up when I'm unable to do so on my own. And when we look at addiction, especially when it's me trying to love someone who's currently or actively involved with substance use, I found there was, on my own, just like with my personal use of substances, there was not much I could do in trying to fight the battle on my own. But when I access that support, I get to have, again, new insight, new information, and I get to find strength in the experience from others. I get hope from those who've overcome whatever it is I'm currently struggling with, and I get to be around people who can say, "Yeah, me too," and you're not alone. And there's power in that all by itself. And so this idea of the support system is, again, it's an idea that I've been given all throughout my life, because again, it's the strength in numbers, united we stand. It's the two heads are better than one. And if I think of things like a snowstorm, right? There's they talk about every snowflake is individual and unique, and you take one snowflake, and one snowflake can't do much damage. But if you take that one snowflake and combine it with all of its buddies, then it has enough power to shut down the city, right? And I can't go to work, people can't go to school, and like everything comes to a halt as a result of all those snowflakes coming together, right? I can't do much damage to anybody with this one finger, right? But if I bring them all together and I bring them closer together, then I can probably pack a pretty powerful punch, right? So it's still that idea that by myself, I am limited. But when I gather that support, and when I connect to that support system who's been where I've been, who understands how some of the things I may have experienced, or some of the feelings and thoughts I might have, when I come together and connect with that group, then there's immediate power. And if I go a step further and I'm willing to take the guidance and be open to the instruction from that group, from that support, then there's probably nothing I can't overcome. And so that's been my experience with both nystagmus and then also with my substance abuse issues. And so that's the message I share today. Is the power and the importance of that good, healthy support system. The worst thing I believe I can do today is to have a support system that's not a healthy one, right? I can have people to talk to, but if my friends aren't willing to give me an honest appraisal or honest criticism or honest feedback, well, first I got to be willing to be honest with them. If I can't tell you that, if I can't honestly explain what I'm currently going through, then you can't give me honest feedback, right? But that's a good, healthy formula. If I bring some honesty to you and I'm willing to receive some honesty from you, then again, that support system can keep me strong. And so one of the things that we offer is a support group that meets every week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. The link is in the chat on how to connect to this community. And that's basically what we are. We are support groups for addicts, for family members and loved ones, and for anybody in the community who wants to learn more information about the disease of addiction and also about recovery. We meet weekly. We discuss a wide range of topics, and again, we share and receive power from the collective. There's new perspective. There's different experiences. There's people from all walks of life, and we come together once a week, and we get to walk away a little stronger than we were prior to meeting that week. And so I'd like to invite everybody to come on and join us on Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Central Time. You can also request that we send reminders through the link posted in the chat, and we'll remind you every week right when the meeting's about to start. Just so we know, like, life gets busy for all of us, but again, that reminder is another way of a form of support. So we want to let you be there. We want to see you be there. We want you to join us as we continue this journey together. And one thing we like to do is just send out that reminder. And that's pretty much it for today, right? Again, I'll leave you with this. Support is a powerful tool. It is that thing that allows me to do what I'm unable to do by myself. It is the thing that allows me to grow and to access inner strength and courage and power to continue to one day at a time overcome whatever it is I may be facing. So I thank you all for checking in, and we'll see you next week.